Hey, welcome back to the Multiplay podcast. We're at episode 27 for the 28th of April. We're recording this one and it's live on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. I'm Docky Darko, and I'm joined tonight by Luke. How you going, mate?
Good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, great. Well, of course, big couple of weeks in gaming and a lot of things going on around the world in the last week, but huge few announcements and game drops in the last week as well. So we'll get straight in and start talking about everything that's been going on. But how's life? Life's good?
Life's good, man. Life's good.
Kids are down for the night?
Kids are asleep. It's game time.
That's the interesting thing about being gamer dads, isn't it? Before you can do anything like this for the night, you got to make sure the kids are down, the wife is happy, and then we can go talk video games or play video games. And this is the twilight hour for us where we get to do the hobby.
Check the boxes, get the list done. All right.
So good. So during the week, of course, Nintendo held a direct where they talked a lot about, it was a specific Mario Kart Worlds Direct, and I've recorded a separate podcast which is just all about that. So if you want to go check that out, that's on dockydarko.com, but also just go back through the Multiplay podcast and you can have a look. But Mario Kart Worlds looks really cool. Have you seen much of it?
Only what they did in that first direct.
But they've added a new phase, which I'm really excited about, which is Knockout Tour. So in it, you embark on an epic race across the globe in high-stakes extended rallies. They've got checkpoints scattered along the way, and the pressure's on because if you fail to make the cut, then you get knocked out. So it's a knockout competition. I really like that idea for the game. It looks like they're taking a lot of ideas from Formula One. They always did because it's a Mario Kart. So, you know, that's where kart races go. They work their way up through the kart ranks and then into, you know, Formula F3, F2 and F1. But yeah, there's a lot of that going on. The Grand Prix look really great. There's an interconnected world. So you're actually going to drive from one section to another, and so like you'll finish one race and then you'll drive to the next one and start that, and so it feels really interconnected, and it feels like it's going to be really online.
Yeah, and it's increased player count, right?
So you can play 4 players on your local Switch, split screen. If you join 2 Switches together, you can play 8 players, and then you can play 24 players online. I'm excited to see more, and I'm excited for the Nintendo Switch 2 to get released. So that's coming along soon. The other big game, I think so. I haven't ordered it yet. So, I might have missed the boat, but I didn't order the Nintendo Switch when it was released either.
Yep.
I sort of waited.
Oh, well, I'm excited for some couch co-op at your place.
Yeah. Well, you know what we do need to play co-op soon is Split Fiction.
Yes,
because,
that's really good.
Yeah, they've added, it came with cross-play. So you can play on PC while I play on PlayStation.
Yeah, perfect.
I have one copy of the game.
Cross-play even without with sharing.
Yeah. So you download a version of the game which is free and like a free play version, and you can only play when you're connected to someone who owns the game.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah, it's really cool. This is a game we were both excited to see drop during the week. We're texting as soon as it happened. Of course, they announced that Oblivion Remastered was coming out, and on that same day, even though there were leaks leading up to it, but on that same day, they shadow dropped it and they went, bang, it's out. We're going to give it to you right now. And I'm pretty sure you and I both jumped on Game Pass and downloaded it straight away. I played it straight away because I was on annual leave from work, which was good. So what did you think?
Yeah, I love the idea of just dropping it. That's awesome. Like, I remember they did, obviously not as soon, but when they did that for Fallout 4, where they came out and said, here's the game, it's coming in 6 months, get ready. It was no wait 2 years, 3 years kind of thing like a lot of companies do, like the Elder Scrolls 6, where they produced that trailer stupidly 4 years ago. What else did it? What was it? What were you
with Fallout 4, on that same, so what they did is they said this is coming. It came in 6 months, right? But on that same day, they dropped Fallout Shelter.
Yeah,
which was brilliant. I love that game.
Yeah. It reminded me of those old Sim games. Do you ever play like Sim Tower and Sim Ant and all that kind of stuff? And
there were a few others around that had exactly the same format as Fallout Shelter, like the that sort of towers game. Yeah, it was Fallout. So, wow. Of course, everyone was going to play that on day one. And it was a nice little special gift while we waited for Fallout 4 to come out.
But yeah, man, I love it. Oblivion is one of my seminal games that I think I just remember that was the game that I first got with a 360, with an Xbox 360, and it was just amazing.
Yeah, and when you didn't have the red rings of death, you were playing Oblivion.
Yeah.
I love it. I am so into it. It is so graphically impressive, much more than I thought it would be. I thought it'd be like a lot of remasters, you see the before and after shots and you go, yeah, I don't really like, maybe they lowered the contrast a bit or they've done something, but with this, it's a full graphic makeover and just glorious. And they've also made a heap of changes to the game itself. So it's sort of halfway between Oblivion and Skyrim when it comes to the mechanics of the game. I do feel like when I was playing the game and fighting monsters with my sword, I didn't feel like there was a lot of weight to the impact. So you hit the goblin and you just, you know, a lot of modern games you feel the weight, like there's a bit of a recoil or a solid sort of hit and feeling, and I didn't get that with Oblivion. It sort of just swipes through and misses and still hits.
I think they've improved it a lot from the original. It already feels a bit more. I don't know if they've redone the physics at all, but it feels like, because the physics were actually pretty great in the original, that everything was interactable, and you know the jokes that were made around Avowed, the things that Avowed didn't have.
I know, right? And how funny that was literally like a few months ago that we were watching those videos of comparing it to a 20-year-old game. Then this 20-year-old game drops and you go, oh, wow, this now looks as good as Avowed, but plays amazingly.
And it's even, you notice it even just in that cell in the beginning of the game, the chains wave, you know, when you walk into them and that kind of thing. So the physics for an old game, there's some old games with great physics, Half-Life 2, that kind of stuff.
Is that Patrick Stewart as the king?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I was like, I forgot that. Like, what? That can't be.
What a paycheck for that start of the game, too.
For the start of the game, yeah.
He's in and then he's out.
He's done like 5 lines and then he's gone, all right, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
So
no, look, I love it. I'm not that far into it at the moment. I don't know if I'll play through the entire thing. I did play it a lot back in the day. But I'm playing something. I don't think I ever played a mage, so I'm playing a mage this time, going full magic battle mage kind of thing. So that should be pretty cool. I always went to thief with a bow and pickpocket back in the day.
I always went to like a knight or a warrior, and avoided the magic. So this time I actually created a custom class which I call Adventurer, which is very much a hybrid of a mage warrior.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so a lot of combat spells and sword-based statistics.
Yeah, okay. Are you far?
Not very far at all, and that's all due to the fact that not that I didn't want to play the game, but I got distracted with another game that dropped literally days later.
Yeah,
which is Clair Obscur, the Expedition 33 game, which has come out. So what happened was they dropped this Oblivion, and this is really, I got to say, this is pretty poor on Xbox's behalf. They've dropped this Oblivion game, this remastered Oblivion game that now 4 million people, I think last check, were playing right across the globe.
Wow.
For a 20-year-old game, that's pretty impressive. But they've dropped this game, and then a few days later, they've dropped this indie game called Clair Obscur Expedition 33. And I think that if it wasn't for the outstanding reviews for this game, most people wouldn't even look at it.
I didn't realize, because I've seen some people online talking about it, but I didn't realize. So is it on Game Pass or something?
Yeah, it's on Game Pass as well. And so when you think about it, you've got these 2 big games. Like these are big RPG titles, Oblivion and Clair Obscur, that have dropped within a day of each other. And you've only got so much time to play one or the other, really, right? So a lot of people jumping on that Oblivion bandwagon, but I really don't want anyone to miss the fact that Clair Obscur is probably Game of the Year material.
Really?
It is that good. Now, if you've played Persona or Final Fantasy game, it's very similar to that. It's just not Japanese. Like it's got that. It's made by a French company, I believe.
Oh, so it's like JRPG style, but not JRPG.
Yeah, but full Western, and it is so great. The main character is voiced by Daredevil, Charlie Cox.
Oh, okay.
There's a character in the game that's also voiced by Andy Serkis. Now, this is keep in mind, this is a pretty much an indie studio of 30 people who've built this game. It looks glorious. It's made with the Unreal 5 engine, obviously, and just beautiful. But also not just beautiful in the graphics and the way it is, but the art style. Like it's got this real sort of, it's hard to describe. It feels amazing. Like you've got to see it. You've really got to see it. There's a real art.
Check it out because I've seen it pop up online a lot, but I didn't think because I don't play JRPGs, so
yeah, I
thought, oh, maybe it's not really for me. But
it's so funny because the combat system is very Persona, right? Like it's got that, and Final Fantasy. So you've got that turn-based combat, but then it's like it borrows from one of the Mario games. So Mario RPG.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So in that, I think it's in that, or is it Mario Brothers? It's one of the Mario RPG games that you do your attack and then you get a chance to hit the A button to enhance your attack, or you can block and parry in real time when you're being attacked. And so it's this weird combination of
turn-based and real time.
Turn-based and real time.
Yeah, okay.
And that's what, I think because I've been playing Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition on Nintendo as well. That's my game I play when I put the kids to bed.
Okay.
And so that also has a sort of hybrid combat system in it, but I don't think it does it as well as what Expedition 33 does. I think this Clair Obscur, by the way, Clair Obscur, I thought was a person's name, but it's not. What
is it?
It's French for light dark. So it's an artistic term. And that's the art is at the real core of this whole game. So there's this giant being called the Paintress that once a year there's a number written up on this big tower, and once a year she wipes off the number and writes another number, and everyone who is the age of that number gets Thanos'd. Like they all disappear into rose petals. And so if it's your last year of survival, you have to join the expedition basically to head off to this other continent to go find the Paintress and stop her from killing the next
and
round
so this
of
is their 33rd attempt. Okay. Well, look, that makes more sense now that you explain it, because at first thing I saw the name, I was like, oh, that seems strange. I'm not sure if I'd be, I don't know. The name just didn't catch me for as a game that I should play.
Well, even when I saw it on the, I think it was the Game Awards, they did the trailer for it. And I was like, yeah, I mean, it looks okay. It's not till you play it that you go, oh, wow, this is next level. This is phenomenal. It is just such a satisfying, it's almost Souls-like in a way. So it's like the Dark Souls art style, and the creatures are very Dark Souls based. It borrows from a lot of different games and sort of blends them together in its own story. But it's the story itself and the characters are just phenomenal. I'm so in love with this game. I'm only like halfway through.
You're hooked.
And I am just loving it. Like it is just, and that's the only thing that could make me put Oblivion down.
Interesting. All right.
Because I really
might have to give it a go.
Yeah, I saw other people's reviews and I was like, oh, you know what? I might give this a go. And then I was like, oh, they are really raving about this game. And I was like, oh, but I want to play Oblivion.
I don't think anything can drag me away from Oblivion at the moment.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. It's worth getting into. The other one to talk about, I never got to play Days Gone. Did you ever play that on the PS4?
No, I didn't. I had a couple of friends that really liked it.
Yeah. For me, it was always like, oh, this is The Last of Us Teemo.
The Last of Us Teemo.
But I really like Sam Witwer, the main actor in it.
Yep.
Like he's in all the Star Wars stuff, and he was in Smallville. He was Doomsday in Smallville, but I really like him.
Doomsday in Smallville.
Yeah.
I don't think I stuck with Smallville that long.
All right, man.
I dropped off at some point.
Stuck all the way through. But he was also in Battlestar Galactica. He was Crashtown, I think, in Battlestar Galactica, the TV series.
Yeah, okay. He was in that Star Wars game, hey?
That was so good. Yeah, Force Unleashed. Yeah. Wasn't that a good game? So he was in that, yeah. And then he went on to play Darth Maul in the Clone Wars.
Huh.
So he does amazing impressions, does really good, like Darth Maul, Emperor Palpatine. So and I believe he's going to be voicing Darth Maul or playing, maybe just voicing Darth Maul in the upcoming Darth Maul series they're doing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Animated.
But Days Gone Remastered is just dropped on PlayStation. I think that at the moment it looks like one of those games that doesn't look as remastered as it could be. But I never got to play it, so I'm keen to jump in and have a look and just see what it's like anyway. So that'll be on my list to do as well.
My first thought on that, has it been long enough to remaster?
You know what? Has it? They've remastered The Last of Us. They've remastered what?
Look, Naughty Dog, get it. Oblivion, I get it. It's been 20 years. It needed some love. Days Gone was like, look, I don't even know how many.
I feel like it was at the end of the PS4 cycle. Yeah, I think it. Yeah. So, but even so, yeah, I do agree. Is it long enough to be remastered? I think it's just the game was so like it found a cult following when it launched. It was pretty miserable, the amount of players. But then over time, it grew and it grew and it grew and it just gained momentum with this sort of cult underground following. And so I think that's where it's at. And I believe the studio was working on a God of War live service game, but then that got cancelled recently. And so I think this might be you know what else we're working on? Days Gone Remastered. And this could lead to Days Gone Remastered 2 if it sells well.
Well, I think they were working on 2 at one point and it got canned, didn't it? It's not so much that it needed a remaster. It might be a marketing strategy.
Yeah, that's right. It might be,
hang on, this has grown some momentum since it came out. We can put a coat of paint on it and re-release it and hopefully get a bit of cash.
Yeah.
It's interesting, right? Because this whole remaster thing is like really the craze now is take these old games and you don't have to do much to it. You know, Oblivion is, like you said, it looks really good and it's probably more remastered than what people thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Technically just a UE5 coat of paint on top of the old creative engine.
Isn't that amazing what they've done? Yeah. I didn't know you could even do that.
Yeah.
So they've gone and put Unreal 5 and just merged it with the creative engine.
Yeah, or laid it on top. I'm not sure. I don't know the technical part of it, but the game runs like absolute dog shit. So I don't know if it's running 2 engines at the same time. Yeah, you can tell that it's not very well optimized. But so yeah, I don't know how they do it, but it's some wizardry to blend the two together. But hopefully they can fine tune it and make it run a bit smoother eventually. Yeah, this whole remastered thing, it's interesting, right? Because there's definitely some games probably from that kind of PS3 360 era that could definitely be mined for some good for some good remasters. But I feel like it's more like Days Gone. Not saying Days Gone's not a good game, but it's more a business tactic than a preservation or, introduce people to these old games that maybe it run a bit better.
You could always play Days Gone as it was via the PlayStation Plus.
Do a patch, a nice like high texture patch like they've done with a lot of games. There's plenty of games where you can play a PS4 game on PS5 with just the free patch that makes it run better and gives it a performance mode and this and that. But they want to sell it again. They want you to buy the full game again. They want you to buy
the full game, yeah. So and it's interesting too, because I think if you owned, like if you played it, which most people would have through PlayStation Plus, then that version of the game won't be updated.
Yeah, there you go. So it's all marketing. Can you imagine that Oblivion remaster? Right? What is it? $5 on Steam or something? And probably different pricing for you on Xbox. But say it's $85, $90 on Steam. If that was for all us people that own Oblivion already, $20 upgrade.
But how do they honor a 20-year-old?
Yeah, but you could just do it as a DLC to the old game. There's a high-res texture pack and it comes out and there's a whole thing that does it.
But do you still have your old game? Because back then it was all discs.
No, I do. I have it on Steam. So that's the thing. That's the difference between PC and console, I guess. But look, the good thing is we have Game Pass where you just get it and it's day one and you could just go and play it. These are the like proof in the pudding of how good Game Pass is that I can just go and grab this new thing that otherwise I would have to pay $90 for.
And add to that the cloud-based service on there as well. So a lot of these games you can just pick up and play in your browser. It's such a good service, and it's no wonder Microsoft's going down that path. But It is a wonder how they make any money out of it, because they're not selling.
Yeah, but
games.
look, and this is why I would love to see the business side of it. The curiosity in me would love to see the numbers, because if you have 4 million people playing it, how many of those are new subs? My Game Pass had lapsed. I went and renewed it because Oblivion came out that morning.
Yeah, I guess it's the same that works for TV streaming services as well.
Exactly.
Disney Plus. We've got the new Daredevil show. Oh, okay. I haven't subscribed, but I better subscribe again.
So if you've got 4 million people playing it, a big whack of those already have it. But say 1 million people signed up that day.
That's massive.
How many of them will keep it around for a few months? Forget about it. Oh, 6 months later, 8 months later. Oh, I might cancel that now. The economics must add up, right? Otherwise, why would Microsoft be doing it? But
I agree.
Mate, I'm just holding out. If it's popular as it sounds, Morrowind Remastered, bring it on. The best Elder Scrolls game, hands down. The best Elder Scrolls game.
Oblivion.
Not even in competition.
Really?
It's the absolute best.
I am such an Oblivion man. Even when Skyrim was at its peak, I was like, God, it's good, but it's not. It's not Oblivion. What a great game!
Go Morrowind.
Yeah,
Morrowind is the purest.
Was it a lot more hardcore?
Because you had to write it down on a pen and paper. Where are you going? Write it down. Start walking. Get on that silt strider. It's weird.
But when they update it, they'll update it to be more Skyrim-esque.
They even did it with Oblivion. Did you see that? How there's or every town has a transport, like a map marker you can teleport to straight away as soon as you walk out of the tunnel from the introduction. You can straight away teleport to any city.
Because I thought you had to go, like originally I thought you had to get to a place before you could teleport there. But in this, you just teleport straight away.
Straight there. Yeah.
Like you don't have to, like it's weird. Like I was watching a video the other day and a guy was saying, before you do anything, teleport here and get this armor and then you're right. And I'm like, what? You mean teleport straight away? I've been walking everywhere first.
No. Yeah, that was not a thing. And I had to check because it's been a long time since I played Oblivion. My brother played a lot more Oblivion than I did. I was still playing Morrowind. And so I messaged him after I played it. And I was like, you couldn't teleport anywhere from the start when it came out in the original. Hey, he's like, nah.
Yeah, that's a new thing. We haven't watched the third episode yet, but we watched the second. Have you watched the second episode of The Last of Us?
Of course, yeah.
They did it.
It's happened.
I really, like, here's the thing, right? I thought for sure, because when they announced that they'd been renewed for season 3, I thought for sure they were going to drag out Joel's demise. I think it's safe to say that spoilers for an ancient game that is now in TV world and everyone's talking about it. So sorry if you haven't watched it yet, but that's on you, not on me. I thought they were going to drag it out for the whole season.
No, as soon as, look, the end of that first episode, I was like, oh, okay, we're doing that next episode by the look of it. Yeah, they followed through. There was no mucking around. They're being pretty loyal to the game, I think. There's obviously...
It wasn't as brutal.
I guess it's not as in your face, clubbing his brains out. But the general gist of it, I think, is pretty close.
And they moved the people around a bit too, because it was Joel's brother, right?
Yeah, Tommy. She wasn't out with Tommy, but Tommy was with
Joel.
With Joel, yeah.
He was the one that got
Dina. Dina was with Ellie. Yeah.
And so they've moved them around. I guess that gives Dina more to do, and Tommy needed to be back for the attack.
Yeah, and that whole attack thing, I saw some people online had a lot of issues with that, but I didn't hate it too much. Some people said that it took away from the Joel scene, and it wasn't necessary to have that attack.
I agree. I think what the showrunners have done though is they've learnt a lot from the game and the reaction from the game, but they've also learned a lot from other TV deaths recently. And one of those is when Negan wallops Glenn in The Walking Dead. And the backlash that show got from being so true to the comic in that one scene. I think what they've done is they've gone, right, we need to work out a way to get Abby likable at least straight away and give her reasons up front. And then we need to soften the blow
Mm.
of Joel's death. Otherwise, people are going to just switch off for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I get it. I guess my counter to that would be the interesting thing with the game, and some people don't like the approach to the game, but I think that it gets overly criticized. Not that criticism's bad, but I think some people, they didn't even give it a chance to like it. But the criticism I see that some people have of the game is, the thing that I like about the game that some people criticize is you see what happens to Joel and you see Abby, do what she does, but then you don't get the explanation until it flips and you play Abby. So then you get the context and you have to empathize with her and realize her side. And you go, whoa, okay, things aren't as they seemed.
And in
this, they've flipped it, right?
Yeah.
They've given you the explanation at the.
And the reason is because a game is an interactive medium, and so you are put in that person's shoes. But when you're watching it on the show, you're not as immersed in Abby.
I think you still could have done it the other way, where you have this person come in, take him out, and then, because I don't know, this is my guess, and I've been talking to a few people about this, and tell me what you think. So they've confirmed that the game is split across 2 seasons.
Yeah.
But they're pretty short seasons, right? So there's 7 episodes in this season, and I'm assuming 7 episodes in the next season. So I'm assuming that this 7 episodes is Ellie's point of view, and then they're going to flip it and do Abby's point of view for 7 episodes.
Yeah.
So if they're going to do something similar like the game, maybe they've
kind of already given all Abby's reasons, though. I think.
No, but if you flip it and you do the 5 years, right? You start doing the flashbacks, or maybe it's just a few episodes.
Yeah.
In hindsight, now that I'm thinking about it, but rather than the game where the game flashed back and forward, maybe this season we get the Ellie flashbacks, where it gives the context of how her and Joel fell out, and then in season 3 we get the flashbacks for Abby to show her getting ready for going to take him out.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe not.
Maybe I feel like they've already done it though. Like it's we've already sort of got that backstory for Abby. Like the backstory's already there.
But I mean, the backstory with
there's only a little bit more to tell.
The Asian kid and all that kind of stuff. It's that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
Is the season 2 part.
Season 2, yeah.
3 part 3.
3, yeah. I think, look, the one thing's for sure, I'm going to continue to watch it. Playing the game, I struggled to continue to play it.
Did you?
Yeah, I really did. But it was one of those things where I was like, I don't want to play this now. Like I signed up to play Joel. Joel was my favorite part of The Last of Us. Why would you do that? And I felt justified in what Joel did because he was trying to save his daughter. These people, regardless of the outcome, were going to murder the girl who had become his daughter.
This is the ethical conundrum.
Yeah.
He murdered her dad.
Yeah,
That's
but after what happened to his own daughter, like you go through all that emotion with Joel at the very start of the game, of the first game, and then
for sure.
And
but
so
this is the whole thing that makes you think.
So for a lot of people, they'll say, The Last of Us is about Ellie. For me, The Last of Us was about Joel. And to take Joel away, I was like, oh no, this is not. But then, like you say, you play and you see Abby's point of view, and I understand that, and it's like nothing for me ever justified it though, because I was always on, and as a dad, I was on Team Joel.
Of course, but that's your, not to use the word biases, but that's your nature nurture kind of thing where you are a dad and you see it from that point of view, of course.
And it's exactly like this is what makes the games so great and this show so great is that everyone is going to see it from a different point of view.
Because you think about it, Joel's a cold-blooded murderer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He's killed tons of people. And so, not split second, but a decision that he's made comes back and bites him on the ass, right?
Yeah, I do love that line where she starts talking about the soldiers he killed and one unarmed doctor.
Yeah.
And you go, oh, okay, yeah, I get it now. Yeah, I do get that. But at the same time, that one unarmed doctor had a scalpel in his hand and was about to put it at Ellie's throat.
Yeah, but it's, as Spock said, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
You're going to whip out Star Trek on me.
You always got to listen to Spock.
I had Star Trek in my wedding vows. I snuck them in.
Did you?
Yeah.
Trying to remember.
I said to Amy, "You will forever be my friend." You know that line? It was
Star Trek 2.
Yeah.
Put your hand up to the glass.
It's like, and when I said it, like, that's not the line. What is the line? It's you
always have you always have and always will be my friend or something.
Yeah, or forever will be my friend. So when I snuck it in, and my nerdier friends in the crowd all giggled, and no one else did. I was like, that is the in-joke of the century. Because if no one knows, my wife is not a nerd. She does not get that reference.
I can attest that she has definitely not watched Star Trek 2.
Yeah, she would. I don't think she knows what a Star Trek is. Very funny, very funny. Speaking of the stars, Andor season 2 has started. Now they're dropping this in a really unusual way. So they're doing 3 episodes at a time in blocks, and apparently between each block it goes further 1 year.
Yep, jumps a year each time.
So we've had the first 3 drop, and that's a really cool story. Have you watched any of it?
No, and this is my one I need to knock out this week. I've been unfortunately a bit busy, so yeah, I want to knock out the first 3. So obviously we've got the first 3 and then a year jump, but then is it on hold or is it still week to week the entire time?
No, then they drop another 3.
Okay, so each week they drop 3.
Yeah. So they drop 3, then they drop another 3.
I don't have time to watch 3 episodes of TV every week. This is going to kill me.
I could be wrong, but that's a mate and I were talking today about it. Andor season 2 drop. Yeah, mate and I were talking today. The second season of Andor will drop 3 episodes every week on Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until the series finale on May 13th, 2025.
Wow. Okay. All right. I'm going to have to knock it out.
I love, and you'll see this in the opening. I won't give anything else away from the rest of the show, but in the opening scenes he steals a TIE interceptor.
Yep. Nice.
From a base, and it is so cool. It is the coolest TIE interceptor you've ever seen, and the interaction with him trying to fly this beast of an aircraft is insane. It took me back to playing, and you'll remember this. It took me back to playing X-Wing versus TIE Fighter back in the day, because the X-Wing and the TIE Fighter controlled completely different. And I think from memory, the TIE Fighter's controls were a little bit backwards. Look at me trying to work my joystick back in the day, because you wouldn't play with a controller, you play with an actual joystick and keyboard. And I'm pretty sure the controls of the TIE Fighter were kind of backwards to what the X-Wing was.
Not one was inverted and one wasn't inverted.
Yeah, it was a little bit.
Okay.
It was a little bit backwards around the way it worked. And in the show, he gets in, and it's going all over the shop because he's like, well, nothing's doing what it's meant to be doing.
Yeah, okay, he's not used to those controls.
This is so it must be part of the Star Wars lore or something that the TIE Fighter controls like a piece of crap.
I didn't know that.
But it's
they can't shoot their E11 blaster rifles, so maybe they can't pilot.
Every TIE Fighter you've ever seen takes one hit and blows up, but this one takes multiple hits, but it is the Interceptor. I think it was the Interceptor was the one that had shields. You're testing me.
I can't remember.
It was like, it was a prototype.
It's got a cool wing design. I know that.
It does have a cool wing design, yeah.
All right, well, I'll have to knock it out this week, but you liked the first 3 or have you watched all 3?
Loved it. Yeah, loved it. Really cool. I love how it's, especially after watching Skeleton Crew, like that was the Goonies of the Star Wars universe, and Andor, like watching the first 3 episodes of this season reminds me of how much I loved the first season for a start, but how much more adult a show it is, how it's more like that. I don't want to say Game of Thrones, but it's that more political conspiracy sort of feeling that you get from Game of Thrones, but within the world of Star Wars. And there's a very heavy scene at the in the 3rd episode, which is like it is something you would never ever have seen in a Star Wars show before.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's serious Star Wars. That's what I like that about it as well. And it's interesting how they've done this release. That was the only thing I'd read about it was, one that season 2 seems good and that this release schedule is a little bit different. But it kind of similar to the first one, right? Because the first one, as much as they didn't drop it in those chunks, it was kind of broken up into 3 distinct, not phases, but sections, and it evolves to be, there's that initial, section on, I forget what the planet's called. Then it becomes a heist movie. Then it becomes a Prison Break movie.
Oh my God, that Prison Break section was so good.
Yeah, and there was all these chunks, right? There's 2 or 3 episode chunks where it was like, oh, cool, now it's changed it up and it's this. Now it's changed it up. And so now to really lean into that and go, not only are we doing that, but we're going to drop those chunks at the same time so you can binge a little movie and then jump ahead in time and binge a little movie. I think that's just such a good idea.
Yeah. And then
rather than a 10-hour story, it's just these cool little 2-3 hour movies.
And because it's jumping, by the end of the season, we're going to be at the movie.
Yeah, at Rogue One. Yeah,
at Rogue One.
Yeah, so I've already decided once this season finishes, I'm going to go back and watch Rogue One again because I haven't watched it in ages, and I love that movie.
And it's so funny because when that came out, it became like everyone's second favorite Star Wars movie. Like Empire Strikes Back and Rogue One.
But why is that, right? Because it's like the originals. It's the same tone. It's set, obviously right before A New Hope, but that's what people are craving. That original Star Wars.
Yeah. The thing I've always thought about Star
and the
Wars,
sequels were so different in just tone and the whole vibe.
I always thought a good Star Wars show would be a bunch of, it'd be Firefly, a ragtag bunch of people on a starship going around doing missions.
Yeah, not even on a star. Like when you say
like
starship,
like
a normal ship. Yeah. No, 100%.
Like, and it has to be what's the Millennium Falcon is a
Corellian freighter.
Corellian freighter, yeah.
But exactly. Do a smugglers movie. Do a bounty hunter movie.
Just do Firefly, but make it Star Wars.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
because those shows, they like so much potential. Those Disney shows. Like Mandalorian was great at the start, and I think that it just went off a bit of a cliff. But Boba Fett was never on the cliff to go off the cliff. It was just
they lost me on those that bikie gang on scooters.
Yeah,
they're supposed to be this tough bikie, and I'm like, nah, I'm out.
Boba Fett lost me as soon as he spent however many years in a Sarlacc pit and came out 40 kilos heavier and a softie that just lets everyone live.
It's not the Boba Fett that I wanted.
It went into that pit. No, not at all.
All right, well, that's it for the Multiplay podcast for tonight. Of course, thank you for watching and listening. The full podcast will be up online, and you can listen to that wherever you listen to podcasts. I choose to listen via iHeartRadio or Apple Podcasts or one of those. Where do you listen to your podcast, Luke?
I'm a Spotify guy.
You're a Spotify. Well, we can listen to Multiplay on Spotify as well.
Yeah, I had a podcast app and a music app separate, and then when Spotify got into the podcast, I consolidated. I just wanted it to be all in the one. I don't want to change apps. I'm in the app.
Oh no, I'm in the ecosystem. It's all like, say, do this. It just does it for me. I'm getting older. I'm getting to that age where it just wants.
Yeah.
I'm not getting old. I'm leveling up.
They've got you.
All right, we'll catch up with you again soon on the Multiplay podcast. And
good to catch up, mate.
Good to see you, mate.